Hey sweet friends, alright, I am going to make a Sloppy Joe casserole. If you've never made one, they are so good, so easy, inexpensive, and it is perfect for a wheat, whoops, oh gosh, that got hooked in my pocket over here, y'all. Goodness gracious, what a mess that would have been. Anyway, this is a perfect dish for a quick weeknight meal. Alright, so let me tell you what I've done here. So I have some egg noodles here that I have cooked up. You want to do let's see what I have here. You want to do about 8 to 10 ounces. I'll show you that in a minute. I need to get these drained first. But what I want to show you is we're going to need 1 cup of water for our sauce mixture. So I'm going to try to get it out of here. That way we got that good pasta water. And if you notice the color in here, yeah, there we go. That'll be perfect. It's got a few noodles in it, but it won't hurt anything. If you'll notice in here, I put in a little bit of beef bouillon in the liquid just to give us a little bit of extra flavor. Let me drain these. I'll be right back and we will get on with it. Okay, y'all, so just real quick, I want to go over a couple options with you. So, you know, I used the egg noodles. These right here, I already had this package open. If you remember, I opened these the other night for my pizza casserole, and I already had another bag that was partially open, so I only had to use a little bit out of here. This is a 12-ounce bag, so I'm thinking in this bag I had about 8 to 10 ounces, give or take. I've never made this Sloppy Joe casserole using the egg noodles, but I love egg noodles and I think it'll be terrific. However, the other pasta that I typically use is just some elbow macaroni. Okay, so if you use this, you want to do about 1.5 cups dry pasta. Okay, 1.5 cups dry, and then you're going to have around about 3 cups after it gets done. Okay, so this is another option if you want to do this. I'll let you know what I think about the egg noodles once it gets done, but I think it'll be terrific either way. And then another choice that you can do, and I almost done this, I thought about it, is you could just make you up a little box of this macaroni and cheese, mix it up like the instructions on the box, and then mix it in with your mixture here that we're going to make up here in just a second, which you will see. But I think this is another good choice. Or if you have leftover macaroni and cheese, another good choice. Or if you have leftover Sloppy Joe meat, you could do this and just make up your little pasta mixture. So the possibilities of this, y'all, is just endless. You can do so many different things with it, so many different ways, so many different options. But anyway, so what I'm doing here, you know, like I said, I've drained my pasta, or my egg noodles. I always run some cold water over it to stop that cooking process. You know, your egg noodles do not take very long at all to cook. Like once they come up to a boil, and of course I told you I put some beef bouillon in there, which is optional, and then you're always going to need a cup of water for your sauce mixture. So I got the cup of liquid out of the egg noodle liquid here, or whatever you want to say, the beef broth and liquid that we had in here for our egg noodles. Alright, so, but again, you can do just regular tap water is perfectly fine. But your egg noodles do not take long at all to cook. I mean, once they come up to a boil, I only let them boil about 3 minutes or so, and I turn that burner off, let them sit for a second, and then I strain them. And they're good just like that, especially when you're doing a casserole, because you're going to be putting it in the oven. Or this one we are. So anyway, and then you want to brown up about 1 pound of ground beef, maybe even 1.25 pounds, just depending on how much you want to make. I may be actually a little bit under 1 pound tonight, because I just grabbed out one of those little packages that I throw in the freezer. Y'all know how I do whenever I get a big pack. So I may be a little bit under tonight, so don't pay attention to how much I make. Just pay more attention to the measurements that I tell you about, okay? So as you can see here, it may be a little bit less, but that's okay. We'll make it work. And it's ground chuck, so it's not cooking down too much, so that's a good thing. Anyway, it looks like it's pretty much good and brown. I'm going to just get me a paper towel and run around in here and get that grease out. And then we're going to make us up a Sloppy Joe sauce. And we will be well on our way. Y'all, this is a delicious little casserole. I made this on here way back whenever I first started my videos. It's been a long time. And I forgot all about this. And I was going back over some of my old videos the other day, and I come across it, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's so good. I've got to make it again. So anyway, that's what I am going to do. And I say, I've got my peppers and onions that need to cook too. I tell you what, since there's no more grease in here than what it is, as you can see, there's really not even much to soak up. I mean, it is very, very lean. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just put our veggies in there. I have some diced up onion here and a little bit of bell pepper, red and green. You can use whatever color you want, however much you want, okay? So that's going in. I basically make up this little mixture pretty much like I do my homemade Sloppy Joe sauce. That's another thing I want to tell you. If you want to make this and do it even easier, you can skip the whole sauce process and you can use your can of manwich or the little packet. I'm not sure how the packet goes, but you can do that or the manwich, either way, and skip the sauce all the way around, okay? So just want to let you know that there are tons of different options for this. And so now what I'm going to do is just let those onions and peppers soften up, and I'll be back and we'll get on with our sauce mixture. Okay, our onions and peppers have been cooking in here for a good little bit. Now they're starting to get soft, so now I'm just going to put in some of my jarred garlic, just however much you want. That's probably a good heaping teaspoon or so, give or take. 1 to 2 teaspoons. It does not matter. And now with that in there, I'm trying to get all that off the spoon. With that in there, I'm going to let it cook for maybe another 5 minutes or so, and then we'll get the rest of our ingredients mixed in. Okay, y'all, let's mix up our few little spices here that we've got to put in here. So in my bowl here, I have 1 tablespoon of brown sugar that I have already measured out. And then we are going to do 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Okay. Let's see here. Y'all, I didn't think I had any more chili powder. Y'all remember the other day whenever I used the last of my bottle in that taco soup? Well, I was thinking, I was digging around in my cabinet and I thought, well, maybe I have some of my the other brand in here, you know, because I love the McCormick. I found a whole bottle of it in there. I was so excited. Anyway, it's the little things, y'all. Teaspoon of chili powder, and then we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of ground mustard. Now, if you don't have this, you can do just your refrigerator mustard. Works just fine. Alright, 1/2 teaspoon of that. I am going to do, what did I do? I don't guess I got out my chili flakes. Yeah, right here they are. And I like to do just a few little pieces of red pepper flakes. Just I mean, that's like a little tiny pinch, not much. Just about like that. Okay, got that. And then one other thing is some smoked paprika. And I don't really measure this. I just do a little sprinkle, just kind of like that. Okay. All right. Some black pepper, again, just however much you want, and a little sprinkle of salt. Okay, so that's our seasoning mixture. Let's go ahead and start adding everything in here. Let me get all this back and out of the way. And basically, this is the same sauce that I use to make whenever I make my Sloppy Joes. Okay, except for the canned stuff I'm gonna add in. All right, you want about 1 cup of ketchup. As you can see here, I'm a little bit short, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with it anyway. I didn't realize that I was almost out, but you want 1 cup, okay? 1 cup of ketchup. I'm gonna get every bit of that out. I can't lose none of it. Alright, I'll work with that in a minute and get the rest of it out. And I did put some water in my container here. So I'm gonna see what I come up with it. Okay, 1 cup. All right, and then you want to do a couple splashes of your W sauce. Just like that, and then we're gonna do another one. Okay. And then we are going to mix in our seasoning mixture. And y'all, what's so good about this is stuff you just have in your pantry. Seriously. It is all stuff that you already have. And then you remember we reserved that 1 cup of water, which this is a little bit over. I'm gonna add in just a little bit and then I'm gonna see. But about 1 cup is what you want. Because we're gonna let all of this just slow cook together for a little bit. And let those flavors get good and incorporated. Oh my gosh, I love that smell. Let's see here. That is down to, I'm going to pour this down to about a little bit more. About right there. Because I had it was up to about 1 1/4 of a cup. Alright, 1 cup of water. Okay. Then we're going to add in 1 can of diced tomatoes. Any kind you want. This has some roasted garlic and onion in it. That's just what I had. Any kind works. 1 can of those, not drained. And then 1 can of whole corn. I didn't have any of my shoe pegs, so I'm just using regular corn. But any kind works. If you want to use frozen corn, whatever you've got will work just fine. Okay. This looks like kind of like our taco soup we just made the other night, doesn't it? Looks almost identical. Okay, I'm just going to let all of this, that is all of our mixture for now. The only other thing we're going to have to add is some cheese and our pasta, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to think about it for a second. But anyway, I'm just going to let this slow cook for a little bit, let all those flavors get to know each other really good, and I'll be back. Okay, y'all, our little sauce mixture here has cooked down. I have turned this off. Just have it sitting here because I was washing up some dishes. But you just want to let this simmer for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, 5 minutes if that's all you have. If you have 15, let it simmer it for 15. Whatever you have. All right. Here's our pasta. This is our egg noodles. Or I don't know, is egg noodles considered pasta? I'm really not sure. Anyway, there that is going in. Y'all see how fluffy these are? That's what I love about these egg noodles. They're so fluffy. I just absolutely love it. Now remember, don't overcook them or you're going to take that fluff right out of them. That's what I like about them so much, is the fluffiness, I think. Alright, now normally before I would add the pasta back in, I would add in my cheese. But tonight I decided that I'm going to try a little bit different, and I am just going to toss it in my little chunks and toss it in the oven like that and kind of just see how it comes out. Just a little something different. But now if you want to, you toss your cheese in with your sauce mixture and kind of let it melt down before you put your pasta in, okay? Totally optional. But here I have 4 ounces of chopped up Velveeta. These are just some little chunks that I chopped up, and I made sure to look. I did exactly 4 ounces off of the block. Now if you don't like Velveeta, you can do some other kind of cheese, but Velveeta is really good in this. And so what I'm going to do instead, I may let it melt down just a little bit. I may turn it back on and let it melt just a hair. But I really want to just see how it is, just to leave it in the little chunky pieces, to be quite honest with you. But I'll let it melt just for a second. And then all we have left to do now is put it in our casserole dish and put some cheese on top and pop it in the oven. Y'all, this is basically like eating a good homemade sloppy joe with some good macaroni and cheese. I mean, what more could you ask for, right? All right, y'all. I am gonna let the cheese just start to melt. Since I had the sauce turned off, it's kind of cooled down just a little bit. So I am gonna let it melt for just a second. I hadn't got my pan sprayed yet anyway, so I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna come back and we're gonna get this popped in the oven. Okay, y'all, so that cheese is starting to melt a little bit. I can see it in there. It looks so good. So we're going to pour this in our little casserole dish. I just sprayed it with my spray. Ooh, that made a full pan, as y'all can see. Goodness. Okay. Let's get that spread out. I think that's going to be really good to have those little pieces of cheese in there. Of course, they're going to melt and kind of expand out, but I don't know, just something a little different that I thought I would try. I may or may not like it. I'll let y'all know. I can see some of them there on top, can't y'all? All right, now we're going to top it with our cheese. And this is just a variety of cheeses that I had in the fridge. Some of it I shredded myself. Some of it was in bags. Just cleaning things out. And I love doing that. I love coming up with a good little dish whenever I'm finishing off a little package of this or a bag of that or a box of this or that. I love that. Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't get me out a green onion. I wanted to put some green onion on top. Well, maybe not. It is a sloppy joe, so maybe not. Maybe we'll just leave it just like this. Maybe no parsley or nothing. Let's just go with it just like this, all right? So here we are, going in the oven, 350, and whenever I come back, I'll let you know how long I cooked it. Hey y'all, look at our casserole. It is done. Don't that look so good? Now, I cooked this for 25 minutes on 350. I didn't turn it on broil or anything because I wanted this cheese on top to stay really nice and soft. So, I'm just going to let it sit here and set up for a second, and I'll come back and we'll get us some out. Okay, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get some out and let it be cooling off. It smells so, so good. Oh my gosh, it smells good. Oh man. Whoops. I always make a mess, don't I? Let's see here. Let's get our plate up here. Get that, y'all. Yum, yum. You can see some. Oh my gosh, y'all. What a mess. You can see some of that Velveeta down there that is melting down in there. I will have to. I guess I have no choice but to just spoon this up and eat it. Anyway, y'all. I'll get to that in a second. I'm going to get me out a little bit more here. I got too carried away. I was looking at it through my phone and wasn't really paying attention to the spoon. But does that not look so, so good? All right, y'all. I'm going to let this cool off for a second. I'm going to have to try to clean this up one way or the other. And I'll be back in a second. Okay, y'all. Let's taste our casserole here. Oh, my goodness. And I'm not going to lie to you. That little bite that little bit that fell off here on the counter, I may or may not have already tasted it just a little bit. But it didn't really have no cheese on it, so I couldn't really get the full effect. But this has got some good cheese on it. Look at this, y'all. This is so good. It is so hard to explain what it's like because it reminds you of so many different things, but the best way I know how to explain it is it's like eating a sloppy joe with a side of macaroni and cheese. Seriously. That's what it reminds me of. All I know is it's just good. So if you're like me and you try to do some low carb every now and then, which I've been trying to do, and I did. Therefore, this is the first bit of pasta that I've had for a minute now. So if you try to cut back on your pasta and your carbs and all that good stuff, and you want a good cheat meal, this is a good one because you're going to want to go back and get seconds. You're not going to want just one little serving of this, I promise you. You're going to want some more. It's delicious, y'all. Y'all gotta try this, seriously. I can't believe it's been this long since I made this again. Like I said, I've made so many different things, I just forget. And when I come across this on my page, like I said, it was way back whenever I first started. I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to make that again. That was a good one. All right, y'all. Make you a sloppy Joe casserole. You will love it. All right, I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.